So the fact that these utilities are being unbundled, transmission is being differently handled and distribution is being differently handled. Now will there be a complexity arising because now that the distribution asset will be used, so how to get the synergy and define a framework for synergizing the entire transaction?
No, that is why I say that this has to be, the initiative has to come from the regulator to define how this will be, because see, the implications are that distribution licenses wires can be used only to provide power to a consumer, not to take it out, not as a transmission line, not as a regular transmission line. Therefore, he has to pay the wheeling charges, he has to pay the transmission charges, because when he goes out, he has to go through the transmission line to the interstate transmission line. Therefore, this is an area which has to be addressed.
Yes, and because it makes a distribution company or transmission company through the back door.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so it makes a distribution company, a transmission company through the back door, and we decide on I was thinking personally that we decide on a transmission charge for the whole thing and then distribute it between the two companies. Right. Perhaps this is the way it can be worked out, because for the whole transmission, including wheeling, they pay one charge, and then perhaps it can be distributed between the two companies. This is how perhaps it can be approached.
So finally, we'd like to know, given your long experience as an administrator, in the Indian administrative system, you have, of course, the unique distinction of, like all maybe officers have done, seeing life at the district level, seeing actually how people react or don't react, their developmental problems. Now that you are now in the power sector and you've been a regulator, the states feel, sir, that there are extraordinary circumstances that people have to be given subsidized power, that in times of scarcity they should schedule power within their own state to avoid law and order problems or to ensure that people are pacified and happy. Where is the balance, sir, against short term versus long term, because production has to be incentivized, and yet if there is an extraordinary circumstance, who and how can we really determine that yes, this is an extraordinary circumstance and everybody is happy that yes, the state should keep some power? Where is the fine line, sir?
Look, I mean, after all, this is a country where affordability is also an issue. You can't produce something and say that as an essential commodity, which has become an essential commodity, and say that you buy at 10 rupees. The consumers just cannot afford. Therefore, while generation is definitely a very important issue, but affordability is an issue, otherwise there will be no consumption. So, I found that even in East European countries which had a command economy, they are also the same questions are being asked. Same questions are being asked because they had subsidized power, and suddenly the power rates are going up. And as you know, today also in the discussion it came up that while in perhaps the cities like Delhi and Bombay, people are prepared to pay any price per power, not at other places. They are saying we prefer load shedding to your power rates. Therefore, if that is the situation in cities, think of the villages and think of the tribal areas and think of, we have to find a solution to this. Otherwise, there will be no rural electrification, and electrification will remain only confined to the cities. And if we have to have that, I think affordability will have to be an issue, and we have to subsidize at least to a certain extent for some years before economic activity in the villages is in a position to sustain a higher price.
So, but what about the Pune model then? That is being touted as one.
Pune model was, see, again, it's a city, and Pune model was because there was a latent capacity which could be utilized, and also the people were prepared to pay a little higher price, 40 paise or something per unit. They were prepared to pay a higher price. Even in Pune model, let me tell you that there was resentment by some of this thing. There was resentment. It was not as if it was a real, success all through. I don't think Pune model can be replicated everywhere, and that is perhaps why Pune model couldn't be replicated in other towns of Maharashtra.